let's talk about the nurture, the built. Like this builds you, the nurture part of it. And the nurture part, right? If you have it naturally and it's not nurtured, I think that things can go wrong, like especially when you're in a certain type of environment. And I want to say a negative environment, but an environment that really people don't have that much confidence, like a risk adverse environment. So let's check out the nurture. Yo, 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 good morning. You already know what it is. It's your boy Ronald West, and you're watching Ronald West TV, and this is the Ronald West Show. On this channel, I like to talk about random topics, a bunch of things that I find interesting. And today I just woke up in the morning and I was thinking about how many of us were raised in a household that was conducive to success, meaning a household where it breeds and raises entrepreneurs and young, successful people based on the teachings that was learned inside of that particular household. If you really think, how many of your parents would have been able to raise you now or continue to raise you now based on the philosophies and stuff that you have now? I asked myself that question, and I don't think I was raised in a household where success was definitely going to be intimate based on the teachings of the particular household. I just would disagree. Not disagree, I would just agree that my household wasn't conducive to that. It wasn't. It was a lot of limiting mindsets. It was a lot of negativity, not on purpose, but because of the stuff they went through. A lot of times your parents would project their own insecurities and limitations onto the kids, or it doesn't have to necessarily be your parents, it could be just the family itself will project their insecurities onto other family members in the environment. So a lot of us weren't even raised in an environment that was conducive to big time success. So what do you do? Well, one thing I did, I feel like I've always turned my back on society or my upbringing, peers, or whoever it was. And I always wanted to decide what I thought was needed to be successful. And a lot of times the peers or the family members or whoever, the adult figures, I just didn't see congruency, which is one of my favorite things. Ronald West TV, congruency is everything. Because growing up, I didn't see a lot of it. And it could change you because the access to the people you have are just access to the people you have. Like basically, if you're not traveling, you're not moving around, these same type of adults are the ones that you know are the ones that are influencing you. Your environment is the one that's influencing you. So how do you change that? And what does it change? I don't know. It makes me want to think that in my head that entrepreneurs aren't built. Maybe entrepreneurs are born. Because I don't know, how do you build that philosophy? You know, everything that I did to build my business, if I would have asked anybody, any of my peers about it, at least adults, they would have told me not to take the risk. Because growing up, you're more, especially in my age group, our parents were more risk adverse. You didn't really want to teach your child to take risk. Everything was about being safe. That's why you go to school, get a good education, get a job, get a pension. Everything was about being safe. It wasn't about taking risk. And nowadays, where my group of people, so my generation of people, we weren't raised on taking risk and entrepreneurship and things of that nature. Where the social media, we see all of the opportunity to make money. We weren't raised on that. We were raised on go to school, get a job, get a meaningful employment, work there for years, get a pension, and retire and live nice in Florida or something like that. That's how we were raised. But as time started moving on and go to school, obviously go to school was so big. Now it's not even as big. It's not even as big because that's no guarantee for success itself, the school route. So I started this podcast just to ask, like, how many of us were really raised in an environment that was conducive to success? Most of us don't know. And of course, you don't want to put your parents on blast or your upbringing on blast. I get that. But I'm just going to ask the robot, are entrepreneurs built or born? I did something wrong sometime. I got to refresh the page. But yeah, that's what I want to know. Are entrepreneurs built or born? I can bet I can bet that the robot is going to give like a classic answer. The question of whether entrepreneurs are born or made has been a long-standing debate in the field of entrepreneurship and psychology. The answer is not entirely straightforward, as both natural born and nurture built play significant roles in shaping an individual's entrepreneurial characteristics and ability. Let's explore both perspectives. Now, nature versus nurture. Now, see, that's one thing I didn't bring up, and they helped me bring that up. The answer is not entirely straightforward, as both nature and nurture play significant roles. So, nature is born, that's how you're born. So, were you naturally supposed to be an entrepreneur? And nurture built plays roles and shape individuals' entrepreneurial characteristics. Now, nurture is how you build things, how you cultivate things. Now, what if you were nurtured the opposite way, to be risk adverse, to be scary, and then you see the consequences going along? If I stay this way, if I stay nurtured and I don't take risk, and I be so worried about making moves and risk adverse, how am I going to be successful when it comes to obviously the greenbacks, when it comes to the money? It's going to be very difficult to do that. So let's look at the two things, nature versus nurture, when it comes to entrepreneurship and how to be an entrepreneur. So let's look at nature. Some people believe that certain innate traits and characteristics make some individuals more inclined to become successful entrepreneurs. These inherent qualities may include risk taking, propensity, creativity, resilience, passion, vision, and nature, and natural aptitude for identifying opportunities. According to this view, entrepreneurs are born with an entrepreneurial mindset and exhibit entrepreneurial tendencies from an early age. Now, that right there, I can attest to the natural aptitude for identifying opportunities. And that's one thing. I don't consider myself at all, and it's weird, like I'm lying, but to say like something positive about myself is very difficult. So I don't consider myself like a smart person. So when people say that I'm smart, I'm like, I don't know. It just seems, some things just seem real obvious to me. I can put things together a little bit better than other people would. I don't know why, but some things just seem obvious. So I don't give myself credit for being smart. So that's probably the natural side of it, the nature part of it. So like that's one thing I see here that's very important: resilience, creativity, and a natural aptitude for identifying opportunities. So that's the natural part of it. And I believe that I possess the natural part of it. Now, let's talk about the nurture, the built, like this builds you, the nurture part of it. And the nurture part, right? If you have it naturally and it's not nurtured, I think that things can go wrong, like especially when you're in a certain type of environment. And I want to say a negative environment, but an environment that really people don't have that much confidence, like a risk adverse environment. So let's check out the nurture. Okay, nurture. On the other hand, many experts argue that entrepreneurs are made through their experiences, education, and exposure to entrepreneurial environments. They believe that with the right training, guidance, and support, individuals can acquire the necessary skills and mindset to become successful entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurial skills such as business acumen, leadership, negotiation, and marketing can be developed through learning and practice. That right there. Now, the nurture part of it. Say if you were a natural born entrepreneur, and it's hidden inside because it can't be nurtured, especially people in my age group. Like, how do you nurture that when, number one, your parents and your environment was risk averse? Number two, depending on the job you get, you can't nurture your entrepreneurial skills. It's very difficult to do that, especially if you're working under somebody, because they're not going to help you nurture those skills. They want you to nurture a skill of order taking and taking orders from people. I've noticed that. Like leadership, acumen, negotiation, and marketing can be developed through learning and practice. If you're at a job and you show leadership, if you show acumen, if you show really good negotiation tactics, the fact that you're negotiating, that means somebody has one viewpoint and you have the opposite viewpoint. If that person that has one viewpoint is in a higher position than you, so are you really negotiating? No. Or are you being insubordinate? So how do you really nurture an entrepreneurial spirit, an entrepreneurial attitude while you're in an environment which they don't give a flying fuck about you doing that? It's about listening to what I say and taking orders. Because most of us, we've raised and we've been around narcissistic people. A lot of our bosses are narcissists. A lot of our parents are narcissists. They're not nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit. And that's why, to me, I feel like being disrespectful, turning my back on a lot of my peers, turning my back on the culture has helped me out and helped me develop and nurture more of my entrepreneurial skills because I'm by myself. I don't want to listen to people. I'm not a natural listener or agreeable person. So that didn't come natural to me. So working for somebody was tough. So I forced myself unknowingly to nurture the skills of becoming an entrepreneur. Let's move down. Okay. In reality, the process of becoming an entrepreneur is likely influenced by a combination of both nature and nurture. While some individuals may possess certain inherent traits that make entrepreneurship come more naturally to them, others may develop or require skills and mindset over time through learning, mentorship, and hands on experience. It's essential to note that successful entrepreneurship can manifest in various forms and industries, and not all entrepreneurs fit the same mold. The diversity of entrepreneurial journeys highlights the importance of both inherent traits and learning skills in the entrepreneurial process. Basically, while some individuals may have a predisposition toward entrepreneurship due to their natural characteristics, myself, anyone can potentially become a successful entrepreneur with the right opportunity, support, and dedication to learning and growth. And I agree with that 100%. So the nurture part, that's the part that's probably scary for me. Of course, you're going to have natural born entrepreneurs in spirit, but the nurture part is very key because the nurture deals with environment. If your environment is not right, both the physical environment on the outside and the environment in your head, then you can't nurture your entrepreneurial ambition that's there. So you got to be around people, like-minded people. That's why it's very important to be around like-minded people that's doing the same thing. And I mean, you really got to vet the like-minded people. You know what? It's not just like-minded people. It's okay. You could be around like-minded people. That's great. But now I need to be around a person that is actually doing it. It's okay that we like-minded and we believe in each other and we want to do the same thing. But in part of my environment, so I can nurture my entrepreneurial spirit, I have to be around people that have actually done it, that are doing it. You know, to talk about it and have the correct spirit. We both have the correct spirit. We got the correct intentions, but we need somebody who is actually doing it. And that's going to help you nurture that entrepreneurial spirit. Going to work, your job, all of those people at your job and that the 9 to 5, yeah, they have the same, maybe they have the same aspirations to do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing it. You have to be around people that are doing it so you can get the nurture part of it. Because naturally, some people have it and some people don't. But nurture, I'm willing to say that there's nothing in this environment that's nurturing an entrepreneur spirit. It's more like we need workers, we need people to work, we need order takers, we need people to listen. So while you have a job and you're building yourself up, that's what your boss wants. So they're not nurturing entrepreneurial spirit. Trust me, if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you should be on the verge of being fired no matter what job you're at, unless you plan on being the boss and on top of everybody. You should be on the verge of being fired. There's nothing about the job that you're at right now that is nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit. So you got to figure that stuff out. The job is not nurturing it. The way you grew up didn't nurture it. Your parents, your friends, your family, not nurturing it, not happening. So if you have it inside, it's not being nurtured, what happens? Is this going to be remain dormant and you're going to have mental health issues because you're not supposed to be working on somebody because you have an entrepreneurial spirit naturally, but it's not being nurtured. I don't want to go on long. This is something I felt like I had to talk to today. You already know what it is. It's your boy, Ronald West. You like videos like this, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. And I'm trying to be back daily, every other day. I want to put out great content and stuff that people can learn from. It's your boy. I'm out. Peace.